Hello to the chicos, hello to the chicas. In today's video we are going to continue the Guess the Candidate Move series, where I'm going to play through a lower rated game and I will talk you through how I would approach those games. So I guess that's all about the introduction. Without further ado, let's begin. In today's game, our opponent, or rather our friend and his or her opponent, sports a rating of 1457 versus so 14 high 1400s. So last video was 1900. We dropped down a solid 500 rating points. We are behind the black pieces, and contrary to my promise, I managed to find again a defeat from a protagonist. So next time we'll look at a win, but today not so much. So Queen's Gambit on the menu. And we accept the Queen's Gambit. That is totally a-okay. And our opponent plays pawn to e3. It is considered to be a slight, well, I wouldn't even call it inaccurate, but knight f3 and e4 are the trendy moves. e3 can be met by e5. This is something that you only know if you are either an opening enthusiast, or if you know well the Queen's Gambit. Accepted, the idea is that if they take the pawn, then they lose castling rights, and then it's easy to go after that king with castles, bishop f5, queenside castles, and otherwise we can force an IQP structure rather early on. Anyway, the other very sensible candidate move for black here is knight f6, and that's about it. So if you are not playing key knight f6 or e5, then you are likely doing something weird like that. That should not be a candidate move. Our general rule of thumb, and that on 1400 level, is already something that I think I would kind of bring up with students, is that we shouldn't play knight to c3 or c6 respectively in front of c-pawns in any d4 openings, because c5 and c4 respectively are the most common breaks, and knight c6 simply blocks it. Now we are down to the e5 break as far as central breaks are concerned, and that's it. If white cuts this out, then we are in a bit of a pickle. Bishop takes c4. And speaking of e5, my first candidate here, I think, would be e5, because I'm getting quite nervous about the d5 push. And e5, d5 would allow me to do knight e7, knight g6, then blockade the pawn with the bishop, knight f6, bishop d7, and castles. A very standard operation. Now, note here that I'm happy to provoke d5 when I play e5, because I have central presence, versus not play that, as in e5, and then get d5 in my face. That is a far worse scenario. So I think I would play here e5. Just let me check very quickly if there is anything untoward with queen b3. Yeah, I mean, if push comes to shove, I can even go knight h6. Yeah, I think I would go e5 here. Ooh, now that is not looking like a move that I would have considered. So this is violating knights before bishops, and it's also ignoring center altogether. So we are ignoring the d5 push, and now queen b3 may be quite obnoxious. With both of those hanging. Yeah. Bishop f5, your good old chess principles, young man, are not at play here. It's not a biggie yet, but I feel like this opening is slipping out of our hands by every move we make. Okay. Yep. Knight f3 is very sensible, and at this point, it's e6 or we die. It's as simple as that. Because the knight is now covering e5, which means that d5 push is essentially lethal. So the reason why I wasn't overly fixated on d5 just yet is because we have knight e5 with the tempo. I'm not a big fan of this either, because d5 definitely creates a situation where we are somewhat cramped. But because if I can't drop back to b3 due to the check, I have to go back this way. And then maybe black is kind of okay here because they can challenge this pawn. So here d5 was still no worries. But after knight f3, now if we allow d5, we busted. So if you play here anything but e6, you cooked. That's it. You can dial the emergency, and by the time they arrive, it will be late. So e6 it is. Oh my god. Like, seriously, why are you not watching my YouTube channel, dude? You should know this better. You should know better than this. Like, dog ears, bunny ears, all kinds of ears. Like, holy. That defended against knight g5, which was not a threat at all. And it completely ignored d5, which was the game-winning threat. And once again, we are now completely busted because we have to go back. Knight c3, e4, and white is just completely murdering us. I really never understand the psychology behind h6, because even if I play something completely stupid, and I'm not going to mirror it, so I will play something differently stupid, knight g5 forces me to play the best move I have. Why would you stop that? That makes absolutely no sense at all. Even on 1400 level. Like, you should know that this is not it. Okay, so h6. Now after d5, I will quit recording and start a new game, I'm afraid. Ah, thank God. Okay, so opponent is completely unaware of the opportunity presented to them and misses d5. Queen b3 was also quite worrisome, but d5 was definitely the ultimate move. This guy would benefit even at 1400 level from my chessable course, in which I explain the power of developed knights being kicked by a pawn push, and how we should dread that scenario. Okay, so castles played. Thank God. e6, please. Pretty please. Ay. Look, technically doing the right thing, but in the wrong order. So we are developing now, which is great, but we are completely blind to d5. And again, like, coming back is tragic. Here forces the check, or rather, excuse me, the check forces c6, the only move to defend the knight. And then after take, knight takes, I mean, 95 looks very gnarly. This is on, yeah. Ay. Yeah, we are completely busted here. So it is one of those unfortunate cases when we are following one principle, but we should have obeyed another. Okay, so if d5 again, we completely done and dusted. By the way, I just would like to add that, and I'm covering out the names again. We are down to move 7, and our friend used 15 seconds so far on his clock and already made 2 blunders at least. e6, the move I would have played. Yeehaw. Okay, very good. So e6, great. We are anticipating here rook e1 with e4 idea, or queen e2 with e4 ideas. Those are the 2 most sensible moves for white. Okay. I suppose white felt the need to join the Bunny Ears Club for 0 reasons. Okay. Bishop d6, complete non-negotiable. Like, literally no other move comes into consideration. The reason why we are not going to e7 here is because our long-term, mid-long-term plan is to break with e5. Bingo! Well done, brother. b4 makes next to no sense. Kingside castles is by far the most obvious. I would be reluctant to play e5 yet, so castles and then e5. Actually, wait a second, e5 is met by b4. b5, excuse me. Oh, hello. So, yeah, ignore e5, definite castles, and then we will see if I can do... Because actually, e5, b5, I can take on d4. So that's nifty. Castles, 100% or nothing. Bro, seriously? If white plays now h3, I'm going to break down in tears. Like, please, why would you stop that? Like, let them come, and then you read out to g6, and it's all g. It's all g. You can even go to d5, actually, and trade into this knight, which is a guardian of the e4 square. So, for example, queen e2, knight d5. And look at that. I take, they take. They take, I take, and now I've got a beautiful central pawn. Black is clearly better here. I have got a knight jumping into e4, rook e8, queen f6. I've got so much freedom, so much play in the position. Like, don't stop your opponent's stupid moves, please. Ay, 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 ay. Castles, hopefully. Although, funnily enough, a6 has enabled an immediate e5 in a way, I suppose, but I would still castle. Yep. Bishop d3. Okay, so we could take this and play e5. But I'm more leaning toward bishop g4. And if h3, can I go back? G4 and then bishop g6? That would be a very, very interesting change in the structure. Because then after bishop takes, pawn takes, I have got split pawns, double pawns. But I have got a semi-open f-file and my opponent's king side is very, very open. So it's a toss-up between these two. And I really do think that there is no third option here. Maybe in some Slav lines I do ignore this being on and just play rook here, trying to tempt them to take this in order to allow me a pawn that covers the e4 square and then use that as a springboard to jump into e4. So maybe rook e8 too, but these three, bishop here, bishop take, or rook e8. Yep, good. Good. As good old Uncle Roger would say, good. Yeah. Look, I guess our friend was reluctant to allow this. This is what I was talking about. I really honestly don't know how to evaluate this. This is an absolute red hot mess. I don't hate it though. I don't hate it. Yeah, I don't know. But I'm reluctant to make a call on this without thorough analysis. So it took, that's fine. And now e5. Let's go. No question asked. e5. Alright, chess is played well when it's played in the center. Our central break is available. If you don't go, what are you even doing? Going backwards, obviously, is what we're doing. So, yeah, this is basically the essence of club level chess. Is that when we are finally done with development and we are ready to fight for the center that we have neglected throughout, we start playing even more passively by going backwards. Don't go backwards. Go forward. That is the direction you want to follow. If they take knight takes wins a piece, I would like you to ask you to work out why I said that. You can pause the video. And if d5, then I can go back and then ultimately land on g5 6 and we are good. So why is this winning a piece? Because after 95 queen to take, the queen can't take you to check and I pick off the lady. That's why. Okay, knight e7. Oh. Now that is gutsy. Hello. So now obviously I am like, this is not leaving. Because if I allow he white to go back to f3, then sacrificing the b7 pawn made no sense. So why don't we go like, okay, I shut you in and I'm going to try to trap the lady, or at least keep you busy with trying to evacuate her ladyship, and in the meantime do something, potentially cook up some attack. So the two moves that deny queen f3 are knight d5 and c6. Now out of these two I'm very heavily leaning towards c6 because that completely entombs the king, depriving it of any square to evacuate at all. So I'm definitely going c6. And I will take it from there. Well, I actually have high hopes that this queen is going to get into some serious trouble. So c6, the idea I think I have here... Do I have time for bishop c7 with the idea of creating a cheeky mate threat and then trap the queen? That would be very cute. Let me demonstrate this to you. So here, here, a Matutskaya. Let's say they stop the Matutskaya and GG. Very target-oriented thinking there. Okay, let's hope that our friend has played c6. c6. Okay, so now if they just go back to f3, we lost a pawn, we're dead. Oh, that's it. That's the way to play. That's right. Keep on taking pawns that are completely meaningless. Okay, so every move that is not queen back gives us hope to drum up some play on the king side. So now all of our pieces are on the king side, and what I would like to do is to play queen g5. Now that is completely illegal, as I'm sure you are aware. So I want to pave the way. I need to move hoppity hop in order to get that out. And here I'm going to demonstrate to you an idea that is a textbook case of how to kill two birds with one stone in chess. So knight e5. It shuts the queen's retreat path down entirely and allows me to carry out my plan. And it might look like I'm hanging d5, but in fact I don't, because I have got check and winning the queen, plus the bishop is hanging too. So my main move here is knight d5 with the idea of queen g5. Take is not playable because of check. And if the bishop rolls back, then I might go knight h4 or queen g5 right away. I don't really like this position still for black, but at least I feel like I'm doing something sensible. Actually, I don't dislike that. So I like it. That is cool. That cut out queen f3 as well. And once the knight moves, we have queen with queen. I think we are bluffing. But this is the good type of bluffing. I like this move. I have no idea what that move is. Like, white can still do nothing that they couldn't do before, right? So probably I would still be liking knight d5. With the idea of bringing the diamond to g5 and go nuts. Yeah, knight d5 is still my move. Is there anything else there? Rook b8. Nah, I would go knight d5. At h5. The problem with this move is that the knight is stranded on h5, and also now when I play queen g5, the mate is gonna be covered, which means that I'm doing this big build up toward nothing. But I still appreciate on 1400 level, black is playing now on the correct side of the board, is trying to stir the pot. I mean, I'm all for this. Queen g5, I guess. Yeah, queen g5 is definitely the move. Whoa, good. Yeah, we take. Oh. Knight b5. Something feels a bit off about this. Maybe queen g5? And at least float the threat. One or two. Ooh. Maybe this is even better because it denies queen g6 as well. Yeah, that's nice. So one of the queen moves, for sure. For sure. Yeah, oh. So if queen g6, then we are threatening with rook a6 next move. Oh. Hot. Check that out. So queen g6 apparently wasn't played, sad face. And against a nondescript move, I play rook a6. Can't take because of mate. No squares on the diagonal this way. Queen here and rook b6, and we won the game. Yeah, that's neat. That's very crafty. So what did our good friend do instead? g5, hopefully. Yeah, okay, still. I'll take it. That's a small win as far as I'm concerned. Okay? So now there is no reason to not to take back. Because I think rook a6 makes no sense. We're just cashing in on the threat too soon. Whereas after cd, we are actually threatening to play d5 and again shut the queen out. So yeah, take back. So this is cashing in too soon. Now after queen e4, they will have queen g4 and that dream is gone. The big difference here is that if you take and they play queen e4, once again, this is very speculative, but I would play f5. Sack this, but chase the queen off of the diagonal again. And after check, tuck the king away. and ask the question. And if they defend the mate again, I would go rook e8 and rook e4 and plug it in again. Constantly creating annoying threats, never giving them time to just recover and do whatever they want. It's a very obnoxious play style. The constant attack, 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 attack. Yeah, I think this is where this game is slipping out of our hands. Yeah, I think... Oh, okay, maybe f5. Yeah, but now there is the queen g4. Yeah. Mind you, there is queen g4 against my CD as well. So, actually, this move I don't think can be blamed for anything, really. g3. Now queen h4 is a threat, so unfortunately the knight has to retreat. And I think that now we're done. I would come back to f5, but it no longer makes any difference whatsoever. Wait, what? The h4 is hanging. What? Right, that's all she wrote. I'm out. So from here on out, I'm not recommending moves because we're dead. Oh. And now we resign after regaining the bishop. I mean, fair enough, we have 47 pawns down, but still. I would have played this move, and after this I would have played this move. And then resign 5 moves later. Alright, quick summary. Terrible opening play. And again, here comes the, yes, you do need to learn about openings. Not memorizing openings, but no one has ever said that. You need to spend time on openings. At the very least, your principles. So we don't blockade the c-pawn. We understand the central concepts of chess and openings, and we disallow, we don't play bunnies like no one is meant to, and we don't allow pawns in the center to advance and kick out developed pieces. All of this should be learned under the umbrella of let's learn openings. This is part of it. This guy is 1400 without a single opening principle to his name. Imagine how much better a player this guy would be if he actually quit playing bunnies, understood the importance of center and central strategies, and played chess like that. He played a fine game from here on out. So interestingly enough, his middle game play was a lot more sound than his opening play. The middle game was quite decent, although here too, again, we completely dropped the ball on e5. But in a way, I'm almost inclined to say it was a higher quality game by a protagonist than last week's game, where we watched the 1900 do everything that you're not meant to in a game of chess. We dropped the ball here on a number of occasions, but these are complex tactical ideas like knight d5 rather than knight h5 to cut the queen out. And then this queen g6 idea was quite subtle to go for. Overall, an interesting game. Easy issues to fix for black to like absolutely leap forward towards 16, 17, 1800s by just fixing their openings. Once again, the myth has been busted. You absolutely must work on your openings, no matter the level, but you need to do it smart. Right? Not brain dead memorization, which once again, no one ever says that you should do, but people act like people keep on saying this. I have never met a chess coach who said on 1200 or 1400 level, you should memorize 35 moves of the Semislav Meran. No, you should understand your openings and you should understand basic opening principles. That's the name of the game. That's gonna be it for me for now, ladies and gentlemen. Interesting video, hopefully, and interesting game for sure. Please don't forget to leave a comment, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. And I am coming at you with a surprise very, very soon, which I'm very, very much looking forward to. I'm going to record some absolute banger content on Thursday, so stay tuned for that one. Until then, I'll see you soon. Cheerio.